I assume from the railroad station and
yeah, the railroad station and the train station. I mean, they had decent enough fire to keep us suppressed.
Okay, so I guess go back to the initiation. You were saying that the first Marine was hit. How was he hit again? You said he took a machine gun fire and was hit by an RPG.
That's correct. He was hit by a burst of machine gun fire. He went down, and then an RPG landed, a couple feet away from him. It wasn't a direct hit on him, or he probably would have, died. But the RPG hit close to him and shrapnel him. He was peppered with shrapnel through his arms and legs. Lost the ability to use his arms and legs for a while. Had to learn to use them again.
Okay. And was there any of the Marines at that time hit as well?
After the opening burst, there was enemy forces here, like directly to our 12 o'clock. They initiated contact, and as Corporal Stewart started firing back with his saw and was struck in the face by one of the enemies. And the round skipped off his carrying handle of his saw and grazed him in the face, which saved his life.
Okay.
And Lance Corporal Mims was shot in the tricep, I believe his right tricep, and he was more or less okay. He was still able to function.
Oh, so even though he was hitting the tricep, he was still fighting.
Right. He was trying to attend to Stu, and he wasn't. Just the adrenaline rush, everything going on. Didn't really click to him that he was hit.
Okay, and when they got hit, were they actually on the railroad track berm, or were they still in the ditch?
Well, Hughes was kind of on the raised portion here, and then Stu was fucking offset back a little bit, and then Nims would have been back here halfway on the berms. So we're dispersed.
Oh, were they facing the side of Huseba?
Yeah, like Huseba's off this way, so it came like that and hit him.
Okay.
And then when Lance Corporal Stewart got hit, it was from the 12 o'clock.
Okay, so just to make me, I just want to make sure I understand the little diagram you drew there. The berm, the left side of the berm is facing the city of Huseba.
That's correct. This would be the north side of the berm, and this is the south side of the berm. So Huseba's to the north, and to the south was nothing but open desert.
Okay, oh, if you don't mind, just real quickly, just go back and show us I know you've already done it, but I just want to make sure I understand where each of the Marines was hit about that time. Well, you just got to finish explaining it, because you explained it again where the first 3 Marines were hit.
Okay. So here, this is where they were wounded. Like here's Hughes, Stewart, and Nims.
Okay.
Hughes got hit from the north, and Stu got hit from the east. And somewhere in there, can't be certain, Nims got one in the arm. Okay. But it was okay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think anybody really understood how that happened. It's just kind of one of those things.
Okay.
Happens in a fight. Once that happened, we started initiating contact. Corporal Carmouche, who was the second team leader, bumped to the front and started trying to get a buffer in and eliminate these enemies here, and started trying to fire back while the rest of the platoon was strung out over about 700 meters because we had wide dispersion coming off these open fields. We started bumping up, gathering around our casualties so we could secure the casualties and wait for Kazovac to come get them up.
Kazovac, that's the
casualty, like Humvees come, pick them up, put them in the ambulance, and drive them out.
Okay, so who actually called in the Kazovacs at that time?
The radio operator was Corporal Hogan. He was the RO. He also, on top of calling in for the casualties to be picked up, he called in support from 80mm mortars that were stationed here in Camp Gannon and was targeting our target house here.
Okay. So that was target house. That was the one y'all were actually at.
This target house. This is the house we wanted to go to.
Okay. So you called 81mm mortars on that. Were you taking some of the heavier fire from that house as well, or?
We were taking RPG, medium machine gun fire, AK-47 fire. Bad enough.
Okay, so the majority of the fire was coming from the target house.
Well, kind of like that.
Okay, so at that time it seemed like the whole place.
This seemed like the head of the snake. So, and we wanted to hit it anyways. So we were taking. They had a machine gun position set up there, so that was the most likely position. Because.
Okay, you were saying that they call for mortar fire. How'd that go? I assume that usually your first round's is a white phosphorus smoke, but no. I understand that the situation was so bad that y'all called HE in.
Yeah, the situation was so severe that we Hogan called for HE rounds right off the bat. HE is high explosives.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
And he called for HE. First round impacted was right on target. It hit the house, which is pretty rare, but it was one hell of a shot. And the only problem with us shooting at this house here was the distance between us and the house was what's called, infantry calls danger close.
Okay, how close were you to the target house?
Approximately 200 meters.
Oh, 200 meters, okay.
And so that means like a small error in deflection of the mortar or the shooter of the mortar tube, and it could have landed on us and gave us a bad day.
Okay. So how many rounds were actually fired, do you recall?
Anywhere from 4 to 6.
4 to 6,
yeah.
Okay. And this was from an 81 as well, right?
Right. 2 guns, 81s.
Okay.
From Camp Cannon.
So at this time, what were you doing in the fight?
I was in the back, and I was sitting there suppressing targets. Oh. We were passing word back and forth, talking to each other, trying to get dock up to the casualties. And then I was told, get small incoming mortars. So, not really too sure what that meant, but understanding that it's probably not good. So just go into a ball, get as small as I could. At the time you were? I assume you were firing your saw.
Yes. Where? Would you mind pointing out where you were?
I was approximately here.
Okay.
And I was suppressing most of 440. We had 3rd squad here and first squad here, and we had snipers between us and 3rd squad.
Okay. Oh, so you had a sniper.
Yeah, we had a 2-man sniper team attached to us.
Okay. And do you recall? Like I understand that whenever you're in combat, you kind of have a hypersensitive, really sharp memory. So normally there's like certain sights or smells or sounds that you recall. Is there anything in particular you remember vividly about that day, or about that time you were firing your saw? I guess.
Yeah, we're sitting there suppressing targets. We're sitting there. I'm looking back and forth, talking to people. They're telling me, my team leader's yelling at me. He started yelling at me saying we need to move to the front and get to the casualties. So me and Lance Corporal Lebrecht, who was the rifleman for 3rd team, we were in the ditch and started crawling, and I hear him yelling my name. So I turn around and look back at him, and he's holding up an RPG, the warhead of one, and he's like, "Hey Ruck, what's this?" I looked at him, I was like, "Man, you don't want that." He's like, "Oh, okay." Sets the RPG down and crawled away from it and broke a chem light and set it on there, marking for other Marines as we crawled past it, so to avoid it. We still joke about that.
Okay.
And as we're moving up to the casualties, we're in this little concrete ditch, and I had all this gear on me. I had probably about I think 12,000 rounds for my saw.
Okay, was this ditch? Was there any water or anything in it, or?
It was dry. It was a dry ditch. It was, early. It's like middle April, out in the middle of the desert, so there's not a lot of precipitation. So it was dry, a lot of sand. There's a few vegetated growth here and there. Is what I call from Texas is bull metal. It's like a prickly bush that always seems to poke the living crap out of you, and it burns, and it's something that we really don't enjoy and try to avoid at all costs. And it was just to that point where I was just like, you know what, I gotta move, so I'm not gonna dick around with this anymore. So I stood up, I started running, and as an infantryman, they always train us, as you get up and run, you say, "I'm up," he sees me, I'm down. And by the time you say that, that's about when your enemy would acquire you